And Moses, commencing at verse 23, and Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail, and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. 26th verse. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there is no hail. I'm going to repeat that. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. Our subject comes out of the A clause of that 26th verse. How many know the word is blessed? And we are blessed if we believe it. Only in the land of Goshen. I want you to look at someone on your left or on your right and say, neighbor, oh neighbor. If you don't remember anything else, remember this. I'm living in a place called It's Already Done. Now, what I want you to do, those that have a membership at a gym or you on the treadmill in the morning, I want you to flex a little bit and go to someone, and I want you to tell them emphatically that I'm living in a place called It's Already Done. That's right. Get up and tell them. Get up and tell them all over the house. I'm living in a place. I'm already there. Text that is before us suggests to you that the city of Goshen has scriptural importance and spiritual significance, prophetic relevance to the body of Christ. The question is, where is Goshen? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goshen is that region of northern Egypt. As we stay with the integrity of the text, it is east of the lower Nile. Goshen is in Egypt. I said Egypt. Everybody say that. You remember Egypt was the place where God's people were enslaved for some 400 years. Goshen was the place where God's people lived or were held captive. Egypt. In other words, what I'm saying to you, that Goshen was in enemy territory. But what makes it so significant? Goshen is that part of Egypt where the Israelites lived from the time of Joseph to the time of Moses. Goshen was in enemy territory, but the children of Israel lived there. And you know how they got there. I believe in Genesis 41, it gives us, let me give you a running commentary, there arose a famine in the land, as had been predicted by a man by the name of Joseph. He had been elevated to the position of prime minister over agriculture. Pharaoh made him second in command, made him second. And during the 7 plenteous years, Joseph came up with the idea, store up food in preparation for a famine that was to come. And in Genesis 42, verses 5, we're told that the sons of Jacob, who were also Joseph's brothers, interestingly enough, came to buy corn in Egypt because famine had hit the land. of Canaan. And it's interesting, these were the same brothers, everybody say the same brothers, that had thrown him in the pit and sold him into slavery. Don't worry, I'll be in your zip code in a few minutes. These brothers that had dug him out and mistreated him, these are the same brothers that were jealous of him and were intimidated by him. They thought he was dead, but God had elevated him. There's somebody that I'm talking to that has a but God testimony. So you can relate when I say but God. And just as he saw in a dream, and you ought to tell somebody, I do dream. How many dream? And if you don't dream, you don't have a life. Everybody ought to have a dream. You ought to be shooting for something. And now these brothers come to Joseph for food. It's just like the girl said years ago, my day will come. You ought to look at your neighbor and say, our day is coming too. If you can just wait a while. And some of us get tired of waiting, but how many know that there's some anticipation in waiting? It's interesting, it's amazing how God can elevate folk that other folk put down. It's amazing how God can promote folk that other folks stand in their way and prohibit them from going anywhere. You don't have to get on the phone and dial the psychic line. You don't need any charismatic witchcraft, none of that stuff. But all you do is stand still and stay where you are and do the zero factor. And watch what God does, because one with God is the majority. So if everyone else wants you off the job and God puts you there, what they don't realize is the reason that they can make payroll is because you there. And some folks don't get it. You ought to tell somebody they better leave me alone. It's amazing how God can favor the very folk that we're fighting. Bless people in spite of folk blocking them. Just keep your mouth, my mother used to tell me, just keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing, because they're going to run out of talk. Come on, talk to me, young people. They're going to run out. Just as sure as God can prosper you in spite of people preventing you. He'll exalt you when folk are trying to exclude you. Isn't it interesting that when they're having their good time, you weren't invited? Oh, they didn't send you a card. They didn't send you anything. It seems like, oh, come on, somebody. But God can raise you up when folk resent you. Do you all know the folk that roll their eyes, but then when you get close up to them, I was just talking about how you doing. Tell somebody they're going to keep on rolling their eyes and they're going to be out their head. You can't keep rolling your eyes like that. But if you're blessed, you're just blessed. And how many folk are blessed in here? And you ought to just tell somebody, by the way, I know the preacher's preaching, but say, by the way, you're seated with someone that's blessed. If you want to know what a blessed person looks like, you're looking at one now. Touch my hand. Come on, you ain't going to catch nothing. Touch their hand and say, neighbor, that's the hand of a millionaire in the making. Yeah, you see, the devil can stall, but he can't stop. I like that. Yeah, he can stall, but he can't stop it. When it comes your time to get what God has planned for your life, God will make the enemy construct for bad to work for your good.